Welcome to Halftime Heroes with the latest sports news from around the Mornington Peninsula. With Adam Kelly, Peter Susevich, Neil Craig, Leigh McQuillen, Luke Harris and Chris Gamble. Take it away, Adam.
G'day sports fans and welcome to another episode of the Halftime Heroes. We have in studio an audience, can you believe it? Clap. Hey, there we go, and we are back.
Massive.
We are back in Suss's Garage for episode 3. It is an absolute pleasure to be back. Thanks to the Susevich family for leasing out your garage to us. The cars are locked. We're in a bit of a dodgy part of Mornington, so the cars all are locked up. Well, I go around the room. I'm just going to jump straight into this because last week we left Paul Gammers hanging. But hello to you, Commission.
Hello, Adam. How are you?
I'm tip-top, mate.
The cheese platter. Very nice addition from the Susevich family. Gammers asked for, he gets whatever he asked for, Gammers. Very powerful.
Jeez, I'll start calling me Paul Goonan soon.
very powerful.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Hello to you, Pete.
How you going, folks?
Very, very well. Thanks for asking. Now, you're just over there, just pressing the buttons. I like that.
Just in the background.
But it's sort of John Blackman type material.
Yes, a little bit, isn't it? Yeah.
Dickie,
Dickie, no, I was thinking more Trev Marmalade at the bar. Trev Marmalade, you just haven't got a funny bone in your body. Hello, and this man, for the first time this year, can I just say hello to you, Leigh McQuillen.
How are you, mate?
Very well, mate.
Everyone
Very well.
forward to
Absolutely.
us.
Boys, hang on. When we clap, you clap,
Yeah.
okay? You're not here for nothing,
Get off
all
your phone.
right?
Get off your phones.
I took a little bit of offence at that start. I'm actually looking at the background thinking I'm at home here. You haven't got the pavilion on.
Pavilion.
I legitimately thought you had a list there.
No. However, you did say a dodgy part of Mornington. Oh, there's no such thing, mate. No such thing as a dodgy part of Mornington.
No,
What are you talking about?
There is.
No, there's a couple
Hey,
of
it was a
dodgy-
cracking night down there, wasn't it? What a
It
great
was
night for
how's the
footy.
crowd?
Well, here.
How's the crowd?
Yeah, well, I wasn't one of them, but it was healthy, was it?
It was absolutely chockers. And
Fantastic.
where we were sort of sitting, we're so used to the crowd being on the other side of the ground the last 2
Yes,
years.
of course.
And we've got them sitting behind us. So it's
Yeah.
a lot different.
Awesome.
They were. Well, and those dulcet tones, we couldn't keep him away. He's back in Suss's Garage. Gammers, hello to you, mate.
Hello, boys. How are we?
Oh, very good, very good. Waiting. Just can't wait to jump straight into it.
We've got some numbers this week, so we don't have to just
I
fill gaps, do we? We can
know,
actually
I know.
talk about what happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we have. We've got some
And
context.
for the Halftime Heroes family, the takeaways are back as we have seen the conclusion of round 1 and very much looking forward to presenting those to you. We don't concentrate too much on the results. However, we just like to go through them. And then we'll get the boys' thoughts on what they thought their takeaways were. Well, that sounds much better, Sus. What did you do then? See?
Very high tech.
Very,
Just
very
turn the
high
knob.
tech.
He turned the knob.
It's a clapper.
He's a knob
Clapper.
turner.
He's a knob.
But that's okay. It's all right. No, you just turned me down, didn't you?
Yeah, no, we can. He can do that. It's bloody scary what he can do. All right, boys, let's jump straight into Division 1 that was played out on Saturday the 5th. The first game was the selection table. Thanks to the Halftime Heroes, we saw Frankston YC taking on Dramana at John Coburn Oval. Now, been informed that some of the scores may not be as accurate as what we'd like them to be, but 12-14, Frankston YC defeating Dramana Tigers 9-10-64. Very, very interesting. Dramana, as we thought, boys, just might take a little bit to warm up just with those exclusions and a couple of the new folk in there learning the game style and stuff, and obviously Homer down there's just putting some things together as well, but very, very interesting.
A tough initiation for Dramana, for those younger guys coming in down at YC. Coburn, a hard deck down there, Gammers, massive ground. YC played so well, they spread the ground so well. Great to see young Max Gregory listed as first of the best players there. That's awesome. Max is only 22 years old, so coming along beautifully, but pretty good win by YC. They look nice and strong again, Leigh.
Yeah, they do. They've got a couple of our boys who originally came from YC, gone back over there in Sport Lloyd, and they look like they did well, and we've had a couple of their other tools there with Mead and Tobin, so we know a few of their boys, and they look like they're all coming on, so they're young, and obviously with Darcy there too, they're always going to be pretty hard to beat on that ground. So they play really well. So it's a tough side to beat. So I'm not surprised by the result, given the amount that Dramana got out, because they're going to have to adjust. They're still going to be a very good side.
Exactly.
Still going to be a good side.
They're going to be there at the end, aren't they?
Yeah, they will be.
You'd expect these players to be listed on Dramana's best. Half of the Gertz family, Billy Gertz,
Billy and Sam.
Marchesani,
Billy
Sam
Quigley.
Gertz, Billy Quigley, and Kai Sullivan, which was fantastic. And for YC was Max Gregory, Matt Hill, Riley Darcy, and Painter. Jeez, and then Small.
Interesting, 28 out of 42 points.
Yeah, I know.
Locals.
It's bloody scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really, really scary. And we always applaud that. But it's a little bit harder, isn't it, Macca, to try and get those numbers now?
It is. I mean, you've got to back those kids, but when you've got, the Gertz boys are all one, so that helps, doesn't it? You've had them come through for so many years. I'm sure we'll talk about points later, but, you're trying to squeeze in a couple of new players, and they certainly chew the points up pretty quick, and you want to play your kids. So that's what they've done, and that's why they've been successful, over the last few years.
Yeah, spot on. The next game, what's that?
Sorry, mate. Even YC are on 30 points.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's extraordinary.
Yeah, YC 30 player points. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is. The next game was, this will be my takeaway. Langwarren defeating the Pines Football Netball Club, 87 played 84 at Lloyd Park. And from all reports, it was on for young and old. They were, how many points behind? They were a fair...
it was the last minute type thing, wasn't it?
48 points.
That's huge.
Third quarter.
Wow.
In the third quarter.
Wow. That is absolutely incredible.
That's a huge confidence booster moving forward now, boys, isn't it? I mean, if you know you can give a tough side like Pines for nearly a 50-point start and get over in the last minute or two, that's massive for their confidence. Training will be up and about this week.
Yeah, I was watching the Rosebud game, and I checked this result at halftime, 42 points up. You sort of figure, geez, Pines are, starting so strongly. But it doesn't surprise you. Like Langwarren, they're a pretty good side. They run pretty deep through the midfield. So, yeah, I mean, huge comeback. It'll be a tough pill to swallow, I reckon. 42 points up and dropping that one in round one when those two sides were neck and neck last year. Really, obviously Pines finished a bit higher than Langwarren on the ladder, but Langwarren had a pretty good year and had a few close losses, so probably finished a little bit lower than they should have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How do you reckon Paddy would have been going on the sidelines?
Yeah, I don't reckon he would have been too happy. I was thinking about that because I only put myself in those shoes.
Yeah.
I can go, how would have I felt if that was us? Like, you'd be absolutely spewing. And he would be. Let's not hide from it. So
I suppose some points you've got to remember is he didn't have a bench the last quarter.
Is that right?
Yeah. No bench. So
that's one of this context. I mean, they've kicked 2 goals, 3 to 9 goals, 6 in the second half.
Yep.
They've stopped completely.
Egg on my face. I had Langwarren finishing bottom of the table, and I know it's only round one. I wouldn't say ineffective, but just their ability to score goals has been limited over the last little while, and they'll be happy with 13-9. There is no doubt about that.
They're a similar side. I want to pick up on one bloke that a lot of people might not know about in that side too. Bryce Rutherford is a super player. He's from Berwick originally. He went up north, played a bit of footy up there. He's a big-bodied sort of Cripps type, really strong midfielder. Yeah. I rate him highly. So he's one that people might not know a lot about. I certainly know a lot about him. So really good player. So real good pick-up for him.
Yeah, okay, very good. I like that from you, Macca. That's why you're here.
Yeah, that's great content, isn't it, eh?
And that's why you sit next to the commission.
That's why you just keep going.
Thanks, mate.
The next game, also a surprising result. Mount Eliza just not quite great in front of goal. They took on Sorrento Football Netball Club at Emil Madsen Reserve, going down by 41 points. Sorrento 94, played Mount Eliza 53. Excuse me, Kamish.
Oh, it's really hard to copy. You got 23 scoring shots to 24 and you lose by that margin. I mean, we did it all last year too. It was only until we got to the pointy end of the season they started to kick some goals. And but that's a really familiar scoreline for Mount Eliza, 6-17. So they need to do something about their goal kicking ability. But Sorrento, big and strong, meant to be fairly handy, and they came in that way too. And they're always, we spoke about it last week. They're always cracking games, and they always bring an extra little sort of something to those games.
Absolutely,
and,
they love. They don't
once they get in front, by the Jesus, they're hard to stop.
They don't like going up there, but they definitely enjoy playing in front of the Mount Eliza supporters.
They would have sung the song with a bit of gusto.
Yes, I would have thought so.
But a good win for Sorrento, and some work to do for Manaliser, but that's fine.
James
they've got the stock to do
Hallahan,
it.
Chad Harris comes back from over in the West. Good to see him on best. And then Aaron Bremen, Bailey Holt, and Ryan Clark. And then for the Manaliser team was Tom Small, Fletch Bain, Harry Langford, and Damien Masidi. That rounds out the best for them. Gammas, not well surprising, but look, it's round one.
I think there was a wedding. So there was a wedding. Chris Carey's,
Might have been a few missing.
Chris Carey's wedding, where I have been told 5 or 6 of them went to. So I think Finn Bain might have been one of those. I think Nelmsey was come back from his knee injury through the twos.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's the Manaliser you're going to see in a few weeks' time. 19 player points. I saw that, but they've only got 18 named against 42.
Correct. You can't have 19 player points.
I think
with 22 players.
But again, they probably would have played on about 23, I reckon.
Yeah.
I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, I think that.
Absolutely, they're going to be okay.
But a lot of people be talking about them.
Yeah, no, I know, and that's good. That's good for us. It's good for the competition.
100%.
The next game was played down at Olympic Park, and boy, oh boy, wowee, 103 beating Red Hill, 35. The game was done and dusted, 68 points down at Olympic Park in Rosebud. I caught up, went down in the third quarter and watched hardly watched the third quarter because you go there and do you want to be here? No worries. And then you get chatting, and I reckon I saw pretty much maybe 2 minutes of football, Macca. But from what I did see, Red Hill looked a little bit flat-footed, a little bit disorganised. Rosebud on their tippy toes. They from what I saw, they had at least 6 or 7 inside 50s, and then the likes of their big forwards. They're going to be dangerous. They are going to be dangerous and one to watch.
Rosebud best are pretty handy too.
I was just going to say that.
Williams.
If you had those 6 in your team, you're not going to lose many games.
I think it's pretty. Yeah, like you say too. Like that's a 3-pronged. You've got a bloke like Kuiper sitting deep, and then you got White there, and then you got Dixon. Like Dixon's a super player. I was talking about him last year. He's a really hard matchup because he's a bit of a hybrid.
Correct,
but he's really hard at the footy in the air and on the ground.
Yeah.
But then the 3 of them sort of sit back nice and deep. They give him a lot of room, and all the one you got to win those 1-on-1s. The minute the ball hits the deck, they can all move quite well.
That's right.
Watching them, I went and had a look, and then you got the 2 Cummings boys, and I mean, you never get a reprieve in the ruck against them. Because you've got Kuiper sitting up deep too. So you've got 3 of the better ruckmen in the comp all on the one ground at the same time, and you don't really need to rest them because they're just rucking a third each.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they take a third each, I mean, they're doing the ruck, and it's when they've got, they're taking a third, it's pretty easy.
Yep.
And then if Kuipers has been known to drop a few, but when he's clunking them, you won't outmark him.
No.
He's incredible.
Has Lockie Williams gone down there as a dedicated forward? He's kicked 3.
He
played as a wing half forward. Is that what he did?
He played a little bit mid and he pushed forward. He kicked 3, I think, in the end, but that was in the second half. I don't think he kicked him the first. I didn't see him early, but he obviously went forward late. But White obviously plays forward and goes mid as well.
Sure.
They are. You look at Hartung too. Let's not forget.
Yes.
They are absolutely stacked. In their side, and they're the real deal.
Yeah.
We've got them this week, so I've already spent most of my day today having a bit of a squeeze and do it again. And so they are very, very good, Rosebud.
No, absolutely. Look out competition. And then the last game round one in Division 1 was Mornington took on Edithvale Aspendale at Mornington Alexandra Park, the Pavilion, and going down 13-17-95 to 57. Not the start you would have wanted, Macca.
No, it wasn't. And when you say not the start we would have wanted,
that's exactly right.
You're talking, obviously the 4 points, but the start was horrible.
Literally,
1-3 to 6-4.
Brown's ruck work was unbelievable, and Diggins. That's the first time we've seen him. He's
a hulking lad, isn't he?
He's a big boy, and we struggled a little bit with him. We probably put a bit of work into Lopo, and then we had to change that onto Diggins, and then they just got those big bodies. Galucci was pretty handy for him, and Toby Arms he's a new player they've got this year too, and Hiscock started on the bench, which surprised us a little bit because he can play too, so they surprised us a bit with a few things they did, and Carlin's obviously pretty handy down back, and Parrott and Tag were kicking goals at will. So we gave them a 5-goal head start. Once they hit that, that's what they won by. We pretty much after that we level pegged it. They kicked a few points. They probably had a few more shots on goal than us, but they were better on the day, and we learn a lot. And we'll just have to lick the wounds.
Fairly similar size ground to what they play on too.
They're obviously suited to that.
They suited.
They're happy coming to our ground. Which we'll be happy going to theirs too in the reverse rubber. But we were sort of pretty keen on wanting to get that win with them coming up. But credit to them, and Pendles has got them playing a beautiful brand, and they play a couple of different tempos, which I was surprised at, because in 2023 when we played them, they were lightning quick. And they pretty much went forward the whole time, but they actually slow and change lanes a little bit, but with slow movement, not going quick with their bigger body. So, but they kicked the ball so well that we opened up the ground too much for them. So we've cut we'll be cutting a lot of footage in regards to how we gave them the middle, because they were just too good by foot for us. So It's surprising, you would think, with the bigger bodies, but they do go slow. Like they take it slow at times, and they can get you, just slice and dice you a little bit with ball movement.
Righto. Okay.
They have to be the most well-equipped side going up in recent years.
Yeah, you said that last week.
They destroyed our competition.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that we discussed it last year, didn't we, Kamish, that they probably are, other than like Dramana back in the day, they're probably the most well-equipped to go back up. And you said off air, Gammers, that, like Chris Pendlebury, he's not fast by foot, but he's just that. You've got to pay respect. Just quality. You've got to pay respect out there. So he's another one.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And Leigh makes a good point. They set up well. They can play that AFL style, keepings off. They've got really good wingers that just hold their width. They know if they hold out there that Pendlebury will kick it to them. Carlin goes back and shores up their defence. Hiscock can play mid, back, forward. They've just got options all over the ground. And, I was probably surprised that Chelsea pushed them as close as what they did in the granny, to be fair. They're a super side.
Yeah, it's fair too. Orchard's handy too. No, like they've got Orchard sitting up forward, who creates problems, and Naina sits off a back flank. Like they've
tough.
They've got a good side. Really good side.
Macca, you said off air, and you absolutely made no excuses, but you're still a couple to come back.
Yeah, we have. But that,
I know.
Like, we've done a pretty solid pre-season, and the couple, obviously, Ned Moody will come back in our side at some stage, and LaFontaine will come back as well, and they're two big players for us. But at the end of the day, like, those boys have had a bit of an interrupted, run into their season. Laffer obviously trying to get the world record of pull-up, so that's a little bit. It's a bit of a different. Well, he'll come in as big as Diggins.
I think he just got pipped too. Didn't he, overnight?
Well, no, he did okay. I think he did okay. Yeah,
someone overnight. I think.
But he
Cregan or something.
Those boys will come back in, but again, no way. Like we should have been better at the start of that game. We should have certainly given them a lot better game than what we did, and we just tried to play catch up all day. We got within, I think, 17 points, and had we kicked another one or two and got within a goal when you kick into the town end, because the town end's always the scoring end, you find, we might have been okay in the last, but they got back out to 23, and then we're just chasing the first 7 or 8 minutes. We lost the clock, and we just weren't scoring, so that margin stayed the whole game. So,
Macca, did you suffer the similar thing from? Did you have slow starts last year? I remember us talking
about it. We
lost
Pines in round 1 last year, and probably we had a couple. We had Vossi and.
But slow starts in general. Just in
last year. No, we did. Yeah, we haven't started well at all. So we've been talking about that in our preparation.
It's a thing, isn't it?
100% is a thing. Yeah. Well, we had we had 4 kids debut on the weekend. There's a few things you can sort of say, could it be that? Maybe, I don't know. But these kids have done massive pre-season, so we back them, and we think they're going to be good senior footballers. So we can't sit there and say that's an excuse. These kids will play a lot this year.
Yeah. It's a 7-point game after quarter time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. When you talk about Ediasa's side, that's a great effort.
Yeah.
No, very interesting. 100%. Now, it's back. It's back.
What is it?
The takeaways. Oh, the takeaways. So you always grumble because you have to use that intelligent organ in your. Well, it's questionable. Sus, I'll head to you, please. Takeaways, Division 1 in round 1. When you're ready, Sus.
Jeez, I'm ready now, folks. It was EDFs for me. It was just their size and their effort on the ball. I haven't seen that in MPNFL for a long time.
Okay.
Just they were very physical, and I haven't seen that in the comp for at least 4 to 5 years.
Gammers?
I don't want to take yours because I know what yours is. That was mine as well.
I just want to go.
Look, Rosebud probably looked a bit scarier than we all thought. We were talking about Rosebud, and obviously I'm pretty well connected to that with they're nearly the Rosebud Eagles, aren't they?
Yeah.
They've got a few of our guys, so we know them pretty well. But, they're going to be a super side, and they should make top 3, shouldn't they?
Yep, absolutely. Macca?
Well, that was mine, Gammers. So
Sorry, mate.
I'll go with it anyway.
Nice bit of communication.
Let's just call it the three-headed monster because that's what we're going to have to prepare for this week. I mean, when you're sitting up and there's three of them rotating down the forward line, and then they're three-headed monster in the ruck as well. Like you've got that combo up forward, then you've got the combo ruck and giving them first use. It's as scary as I've seen for a long time. So, you know, we're going to get first-hand look at it on the weekend, and we'll be prepared for it. We've got to put a plan in place. We're going to have to shuffle our side a little bit to prepare for that because we can't go in with the exact same side this week. But they are, like I said, I think, you know, as long as they stay injury-free, I'm not sure how much depth is sitting in their development side because I know for a fact our under-19s are extremely strong this year, which will prop up our development as well because we're gonna put our under-19s. We're obviously got a second side as well this year in our under-19s, but we're going to be propping up our reserves with some really good 19s as well, which will also see them come through the seniors. So I think our younger kids are going to be our depth. I don't know what Rosebud's got. We'll see what they got in the development side. So if they stay injury-free, they're a scary proposition.
Okay. They had just on that, Macca. They had a reasonably strong. They got better as the year went on, but they had a reasonably strong 19s last year. A lot of them were top age. They're now playing in. They're now playing in that reserves team.
Well, there you go.
So,
did they win? They won, didn't they? They beat
did.
Red Hill
Well, under a little bit of controversy.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure. Good field umpire said it was a goal, and the goal umpire said it was a point. So
right,
yeah, no, it was
they locals.
Right.
So there were a couple of dads, I think.
Who won that battle?
Rosebud.
No, but who
Oh,
won
the
the
goal
battle?
umpire.
Right, okay.
Yep.
Who rode the field umpire.
Yep, absolutely.
Probably in the better position.
Takeaways for you, Commish?
I think Langies win just to propel them into the year. I mean, they're playing with 32 points. They're a young team. They're a young demographic out through Langwarren. That's going to really project them into the year nicely, and that's massive. You can really, as a coach, from a coaching point of view, you could really send some nice tapes out of our last 10 minutes. This is what we can do when we're up and about.
Yep, so
we use those big grounds.
Commish.
Well, got some good Russ anyway. Got some good contacts out of lane, but bloody like them, and they play with a little bit of spirit, Langy, out there. So it's
always
very,
have.
very good. I like their win. It's terrific.
Geez, their coaches celebrated hard. So
did they?
I don't know if I could even do that.
No,
with my back.
I know. But leaping but as you would.
Well done, Beardy. Yeah, he was carrying like 5 blokes, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
So good to see. We're going to keep going, Sus Buggier. Let's go straight into round 2 to be played out on Saturday, the 12th of April. The selection table we have chosen for this week is going to be Sorrento hosting at Dave McFarlane Reserve, Edith Vale Aspendale. Oh, yeah, let's go and get that done because that's going to be very, very interesting. But the first game we'll look at is, of course, just on that commish. Langwarren's going to be taking on Dramana Football Netball Club at Lloyd Park.
Great opportunity for Langy. Dramana are developing, as we know. They've had a lot come in and a lot come out, so they're still feeling their way. But Langy will be a settled list, and that could be very, very interesting as far as Dramana's concerned.
On a big deck.
On a big deck.
Yes, they like the big dick, don't they?
Yeah,
they do. Dramana. Love it. The next game. Pardon? They do. They love the big dick. Just turn Kiwi then. The next game is... Oh, sorry, tips, please. Tips, boys. Someone? Anyone?
Dramana.
I'm going to go Langy.
Yeah, I'm going to go Langy too.
Dramana, they love him, but the Dramana will bounce back.
I'll go Dramana.
Dramana? Gammers? Dramana? I don't mind the Langy. I reckon there might be an upset.
28 degrees on Saturday?
27.
Warm. Fairly still.
It's going to be a ripper.
Yeah, it is.
Beautiful.
It's going to be very, very nice for football. It's going to be a beautiful weekend.
Lovely.
Tomorrow can get stuff, being because we record on the Monday, so tomorrow's Tuesday.
Right.
Terrible day. Not that anyone cares. The next game to be played out at Mornington Alexandra Park, the Pavilion, will be Mornington, already alluded to by Macca, Mornington taking on Rosebud. Macca, you're already doing your research. You're already doing your homework.
Well, that's the beauty of school holidays. Hey?
That's right. So the halftime hero family
that
do know he's got the worst job in the... Well, no, maybe not. He's not a prep teacher, but he's the prin because the prep teachers, I don't know how they do it, mate. I'm telling you.
I agree.
But no, you are on school holidays and loving every second of it. Look
Absolutely.
at you.
Yeah. So really just started, you're not quite into it, another day or two.
Yeah. Oh, well, I started. Are you talking about watching Rosebud?
No, as in
holidays.
Wrapping up your school.
Yeah, I got a little bit to do before I get stuck into that, but I did spend a fair bit of time watching a bit of footage today. So there's a lot of notes, but I got to see them live for half a game, so I've got that. But I am working on their footage as well, and we'll cut it fairly solidly, and we'll prepare for it. So can put the time in this week. And,
Yes.
Normally at work I'd be shutting the door and
Yeah.
hoping to get an hour or 2
Yeah,
hours. But a bit easier this week. Bit easier.
Yeah, no doubt. Like every other school, you'll have 4 days of PD after you get back from holiday.
Hey, it is a short week. We've got Easter Monday and we've got Anzac Friday. It's a 3-day week.
Started about that. What a joke.
So
Get it right,
potential 4 or 5 changes this week, mate, to take on the bigger bods.
Yeah, I think you'll see a change up in personnel because we've
okay.
got to prepare for a different size. So I'm not talking. I mean, Edie are big, but these guys have got a lot of height.
Yeah,
so
sure.
we've got to be prepared to bring blokes in that can match up and and at least sort of even that sort of stuff. Especially when it's 28 degrees.
Yeah,
it's going to be a tight game.
Yeah.
Just adds an element, doesn't it?
It does. So
Sure
I think tomorrow night will be. I don't know. I might have to turn up there about 3 o'clock to start selection before we generally do that before training. So we might be there pretty early, you and myself.
Sus, your tip?
Going to stick with Mornington on a small ground, and with that, I'll also say that Mornington won the last match last year as well in that same condition. So under a bit of pressure, so we'll see Mornington come to light.
Interesting, Commish.
Okay. Oh, look, I think Rosebud will probably get if they're as good as what you're saying there, and they're as big as strong as what they are. I think they probably get the points down there on a dry Saturday afternoon.
Gammers?
Yeah, I think it's hard to go against Rosebud on the round 1 form, and I hope it's a good game. Small ground should bring Mornington a bit closer to them, but I think if Rosebud are the real deal, they should win that reasonably well.
Yep, agree. And obviously, Macca, we know that you're going to go for the boys.
Absolutely.
Up the boys.
Leigh,
Back them all the way.
We
Yeah,
talk
of course.
about small grounds and big grounds not all the time, don't we? Is there that big a difference?
Oh, there is.
I mean,
there
the
is.
way you train it, the way you squeeze, the way you make the ground smaller or bigger.
I think I said this last time we were in. We did a lot of work on contest
Yep.
in 2023 and a bit in 2024. We've certainly sort of changed that a little bit because we spent a bit of time on contest over the last couple of years. So, and then you go out, you recruit blokes for our ground. Like Matty Jones came into our side, over the last month, and we've recruited him specifically to play inside once we lost Nathan Heath.
Right, sure.
You go out and you're specific on it, but you still need your outside runners and that on it. You can still there's still space, but you also pick a little bit of a different side at home, and then you might put in a couple of the runners on the out. If we play Red Hill at Red Hill or Langy at Langy, we'll change that makeup a little bit, put some of the kids in and let them run. You back your bigger bodies in there, and you put them in week out, and then you look at your young kids on those opposition games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Hey? So it's important to win at home.
100%. Yeah.
Mate puts all the acid on that.
Yep.
Sandra Sully with the late news.
No, well,
Talk about point out the
You winded him up.
He'll walk out.
Well, he just lost one. I know he's not particularly happy, but anyway.
He's here. That's all that matters.
I'm here.
You're here.
Just hanging on.
The next game is Pines taking on Mount Eliza at Eric Bell Reserve. Mount Eliza will come back strong.
Yeah, well, Pines won't be real happy either.
No, they won't be. They won't be. But I just think that the skill of Mount Eliza, I think, will Pines will try and outbody them. But as we saw last year in the grand final, that Mount Eliza just don't back away from that style of footy anymore. So they'll bring it to them and they'll just beat them by foot and just by skill, I think.
Yeah. When you talk about Pines, because I didn't know Pines didn't have a bench at the end. Did they lose?
No, neither did I.
Is that just they lose anyone, as in like
to
bigger injuries, or was
I'm
that
not
just
sure.
I think there
cramps
was,
and
they were cramping up, but was told that there were four serious injuries.
Yeah, so that probably isn't going to help them this week. If their side look reasonably good on paper, but if Mount Eliza's got all those blokes come back from the wedding, that's certainly going to make a big difference.
Yeah, you'd think so.
I'd hate to be
who has
a
a fucking wedding at round 1?
Should
Mount Eliza.
Would you allow that?
Do you know though? Well,
Gammers, would you allow that, a wedding round 1? Mate, make it a week prior.
Yeah, you'd be disappointed.
You'd be disappointed.
Tackling the guest list is half
I'd love to
your
know.
team.
I'd love to know whose wedding it is because Credlin missed for us on the weekend too because he was at a wedding. So
Right.
I'm going. He might.
I heard there was 3 or 4
True,
weddings
yeah.
around the
Oh, was
corner.
Turn it up.
Happens.
Jeez, not good enough. The next game will be played up at, it's going to be a beautiful day up there too, up on the hill. Red Hill taking on Frankston YCW at Red Hill Recreation Reserve. The big ground, YC won't shy away from it. And I think YC will just, they'll do it again. I think they're just going to get better and better, and they will definitely be on top and all over Red Hill for me. Sus.
YCW easy, and just on the last match, Mount Eliza will win as well.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry, we didn't
Yeah,
do tips.
we didn't get
We
asked.
didn't do tips.
Good sus.
Yeah, Mount Eliza for me.
And
We've moved on.
Yeah, we have.
And YC.
We have. Macca.
Yep, I'll go YC2. Red Hill will push them. Like I know,
Yeah, they will.
Red Hill play their ground so well. Like I think they'll push them. They're very attacking. I think they kicked 5 goals to halftime the other day. Maybe kicked 2 after that against Rosebud, which I missed. But I thought they looked okay. Like they play a really quick brand. So on their ground, it'll suit them. But yeah, I reckon Frankston myself will wear them down.
Yeah, Gammers.
Yeah, Frankston YC for me. Thanks.
Yep. Commish.
YC.
Yep.
YC, the clean sweep.
Clean sweep.
Think so.
Yeah, okay. What do you mean by the clean sweep?
Well, all of us.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. I thought you meant like 19s.
Oh,
Reserves
maybe that as well.
Maybe.
I'll go with that as well.
We'll see.
Well,
Yeah, we'll see.
put it in the bank.
Well, they are. I mean, yeah, they're very good. You know,
They are very good. They get those warm conditions.
Absolutely.
Everything's
It's
above
all
their
in the
head.
mushrooms up there. It's all in the shrooms. The next game, the selection table, as I mentioned off the top, Sorrento hosting Edith Vale Aspendale at Dave McFarlane Reserve. Congratulations to Sorrento also for being approved for the upgrade of the rooms. A great effort. What?
Oh, it's much to the dislike of people over in the western part.
Oh,
of
much to the dislike of the whole contest, I would have thought. And Anthony Ring had great pleasure in saying that it's going to be funded as well by some generous people within the Sorrento community.
Is that right?
Yeah, the press release out this
Right.
week.
Good on it.
And I just thought, oh, this is gold. I love every bit of it. Fantastic. You go, Sorrento. You go, you good thing. They will be taking on Edith Vale Aspendale, and this is a clear selection table favourite for the halftime heroes, given Sorrento's performance on the weekend, and then obviously Edith Vale Aspendale. Macca, you said, very, very, very frightening. So that's why we had to pay special attention to this particular game. It is going to be interesting, isn't it, Macca?
It is. And looking at Sorrento's side, I haven't seen that game, but, obviously 2 Clark boys are going to be pretty handy in that midfield. And, obviously Shannon Gladman's, a very good footballer, a local down there. And, look, I think, it'll be a great game. I think this it's definitely the match of the round in regards to how close this could be. It'll certainly give us a good yardstick on EDS after playing us to see whether they can handle these guys too. Because they've had a good win last week, even though Mount Eliza had a couple out. It's still a great win. So I reckon it'll be pretty close.
That is. There goes another Ute. Hey,
They're close, aren't they? Those
they
Utes?
are.
Yeah, I nearly moved before.
Nearly got Macca. Nearly got Macca earlier.
One chucked the cigarette butt at Gabish.
Oh,
Did they really?
oh,
That's
jeez.
disgusting.
I thought it was a knife.
Thought it was a knife in the back.
But 2 very similar game style too. So I would have thought surrounded bigger bodies.
Yeah.
Be a crash and bang type contest down
I'm
there.
interested to see who they've got up forward, Sereno,
Yeah,
because Edie's backline is very good. So they're very hard to score against. So that'll be interesting to see who they've got to kick their goals because they didn't have any problem scoring. Edie.
No. Tips, please.
Fire away.
Well, James Hallahan kicked 6.
Sorrento.
Wow.
James did.
Yep. Sorrento
Six.
just.
Sorrento
Clark 3.
just.
Backline will be interesting for EDFs.
Yeah, I'll back Edie again.
Get it back 80 again. Interesting. I think Sorrento at home for me.
I think Eddie will send a message. 2 and zip.
2 and zip.
I like it a lot. Well, that rounds out Div 1, round 2 coming up to be played, as mentioned, on Saturday, the 12th of April. We are going to take a quick break, and we're going to come straight back with, a different-looking coach's corner.
A little bit different.
We have 2
Throw a
coaches
couple of
here.
curveballs.
And although there will be cone of silence. Well done to you too, Sus. The cone of silence, massive hit on halftime heroes. It's taking off, don't you?
What is the point? We just keep going.
So good. You are listening and watching the Halftime Heroes. We'll be back after a break.
When your loved ones live alone, it's concerning. So I had no problem changing providers when I saw a better option.
Whether it's helping the aged maintain their independence or providing an approved NDIS package for someone with a disability, a visit from one of Aftercare's qualified personal carers can make all the difference. Aftercare prides itself on tailoring personalised service to the aged and those with disabilities and has done for 21 years. If someone you love could receive better care in their own home, call Aftercare on 1300 464663 or visit after-care.com.au.
Changing was the best thing we ever did.
So let our family help your family.
Are you tired of spending endless hours on property maintenance? Look no further. Introducing Askanish, your premium solution for high-end property maintenance. Our expert team with years of golf course experience specialises in broadacre spraying and large area mowing, ensuring your property maintains its pristine condition. Say goodbye to hassle and say g'day to perfection with Askanish. To find out more, call Rob on 0407 362 328.
Welcome back to Halftime Heroes, the latest on local sport across the Mornington Peninsula.
Welcome back to the Halftime Heroes. It is now time for the Coach's Corner, but just before I do, we do have a studio audience in here tonight. Welcome to Reese and Nashville. Nash, hello, boys. How are you? Oh, there they are. Look at that. I love it. It's fantastic.
They're up and about, don't they?
They are up and about, just
Yeah.
snapping at each other while they're sitting next to each other, no doubt. And because that's what kids do. Fuck having a conversation. Let's just snap at each other.
Snap it.
We'll be on Foxtel soon.
Snap it.
They've got like 30 shows on there.
Yeah, some of the crap they're coming out with.
Next week, we're on Foxtel. Beautiful.
What's the Agenda Setters? Have you seen that one?
Oh, it's got Kane Corns.
Fuck, it's on tonight, I think.
Oh, they're watching us, aren't they? Watching us.
Oh, there's 4.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually a world record. 4. It's a new PB.
It is. Well, it is now time for the Coach's Corner, one of the Halftime Heroes family favourites. Sus did some magic through the week just with the cone of silence. Kamish, I promise you I will keep tight-lipped and take it away, please.
No, you won't.
Bet you don't.
There's the cone of silence.
Every week we've got to go through the same.
We'll just stop laughing at you. I
bloody-
encourage you.
You should know. You should all know. Don't laugh, and I'll
It's the
stop.
most ridiculous. But anyway, but you like it, so it's amazing.
I do.
Let's go 86.
Righto. So we've got 2 great footy brains in here who've been around the Cape for ever and a day.
Some of the best brains.
And I want to go back to a couple of weeks ago. We started talking about player points and cash.
Oh,
And
I
how
love
we
it.
wanted to get rid of the cash and that sort of stuff. So I've done some homework at it.
What?
Yep, I have.
What?
I'm going to use Division 2 on the
You
weekend.
actually have. There's actually stuff
It's
written
not,
down.
there's stuff, isn't there?
There is stuff.
So I'm going to use Division 2 as an example of the week just gone by.
Okay.
There was out of a potential 520 player points up for grabs, about 428 player points were actually used between the 12 teams, averaging around about 35.6 player points per team.
Well,
Let's go back.
This.
Let's,
I like that.
Don't, hey,
On average.
just keep it together.
Are we in the silence as well?
Yes.
Of course
we
you
are.
are.
Oh,
Everyone's
we're
in
in
it.
the
Okay, right.
Nash, Reese, we're all in it. It's a very big cone.
It's Coach's Corner, like another coach.
It's a very
So
big.
I didn't know.
Can I have a drag?
Sorry,
I-
mate. Sorry,
I-
mate. I'm usually behind you too. Sorry.
Right. Are we keeping up?
Yes, yeah.
Right. So there was
I'm still getting
there was an
on
average of
35 points.
So let's wind that back to 35 points. My concern is that we're not looking after the bottom end of our talent pool, the juniors, anywhere near well enough. And we just say to, look, Bomb Beach, we're using examples over the last couple of years. Bonnie couldn't get a 19s up. Karingal couldn't. There was a number of clubs. And everyone just sits there and goes, in fact, there's some people that take joy in that from other clubs. And you think, well, it's not good enough for our game. We're just not growing it. So my thoughts would be moving forward, you might give clubs 2 or 3 years to transition into this to get their junior clubs up and about, or to form an affiliation with a close, more nearby junior club. 3 years to sort their shit out so they can get to this level. But 35 player points should be the maximum. So you're making football far more local. You take the cash way out of it. So you don't worry about the cash element.
Yes, correct.
And so the 35 points will pull that back anyway. And if you've got a a Nick Dacos that happened to grow up in Somerville, and he comes back when he's 30 and wants to play, he's a one-pointer.
Yep.
You might have to pay him $2,500, but he's a one-pointer.
Just to talk to him.
Just to talk to him. Just to get him to sign some caps. But if we don't start to look after the lower end of our talent pool, and I went past a couple of junior grounds yesterday, Sunday morning, and the car parks were full. So at very junior level, it's strong.
Yep.
But it drops off at 14, 15, 16
Does.
because these kids think, you know what, there's not much point going ahead, or I can go get a job as a tradie, or I can do whatever I want to do because I'm never going to get a senior game of footy. But if I'm a one-pointer, if I've got the 35-point cap, you're a big chance of being a local kid, and your talent can be, that's the coach's job to bring their talent out, and everyone gets a bit of a lick of the ice cream. But unless we start looking after the lower levels and we form some sort of a summit with AFL Southeast where we get the good footy brains together and we all talk about it, it's going to go to poo. Because some of the money we hear floating around, we all know that everyone's above the, or very close or above to the cap, or above the cap. Well, it's the worst kept secret in football. What do we do about it? We start to work on these lower levels and get them through, get kids excited about playing 16, 17s, 19. Look at Baffa. They've got first, seconds and thirds and 19s. I mean, to have how many guys missed out on your twos on the weekend?
We had 14 miss out.
14. So you got 14 guys not playing footy. What about you?
Yeah, probably about the same.
So, I mean, there's 14 potential guys. If we had first, seconds and thirds and maybe an 18s comp, that there's barely anyone missing out. In fact, it'd be hard to possibly fill those sides. But I think if we could give a bit of a hiatus to clubs and say, look, in 2029, we're going to introduce the lower point system so we can play the local kids. That gives people a chance. And Sorrento will go, oh, well, no one comes down this way. Form an affiliation with the team in Blairgowrie or a team that's close to you, but don't sit on your hands and bitch and whinge when you've got to play all the money out to get these players to come to you. It's flawed. It'll be flawed somewhere, but that's where I want you guys to chime in and have your say.
Well, I know in our comp, we've had issues with clubs not trying to get a 19s up. So, like, I know I was pretty vocal. I think I was sitting next to Bushy Bastanak, actually. We're talking about a couple of clubs, and I'm not going to name them because it is a bit disrespectful, but there was a couple of clubs that were competitive that were nearly a player above us in points.
Yep.
And we're like, and one of those clubs didn't have 19s, and that same club's pretty well to do financially. And you go, well, how sustainable is it for us to compete with that? Now, the point system is flawed in a number of ways. If you want to, like, if you want Div 2 to be successful and to, you know, I know Crib Point are making a run, but your tie-abs, etc. and that, we also need some points relief. I don't know how you do that. So every time we pull a player out of Div 1, not only do we have to overpay them, they also an extra point. So
yeah, correct.
The point system for me, is too complicated for the volunteers that we have running it. I know it is at our club. I'm not sure what it is at other clubs. I'm sure Mornington probably have more off-field people than what we do, even though it's growing at the moment. But us, the smaller clubs, administration-wise, we can't manage the points at the moment. Like, I'm sitting there going, oh, can't we?
Yeah.
You know, how do we do this? Can we get a point here? Like Andy Roberts last year, we get him from Mount Eliza, plays 60 seconds. He doesn't go down a point this year, so he's still a three-pointer, even though you ask. Yeah. Like, just silly little things.
There needs to be
it's too complicated.
Approach
and
to it.
The other thing I find with the league is it's about who's sitting in the chair. You might get a different answer from year to year.
Yeah,
like, so the points needs to either be
it's a moving feast,
100%. So you can't keep up with it. I agree with you to an extent. I think that way, though, you'll end up probably destroying already weak clubs because you look at someone like Frankston YC, Mount Eliza, they're already playing below that points really, really easily. I think even Edia are below that, and they've brought some guys in. So I don't know. I think you're onto something, but I don't. It's going to be a complicated solution to a complicated problem, I believe.
I take that point too, but I mean, there was 3 or 4. There was Kringle, Bombers, Bomb Beach, and Devon all playing below that 35 level, and everyone else, Pearstown, Cribby, Chelsea, Surrey, Tybe, and Hastings were playing above that. But does that mean that is there not a one pointer in the development side that couldn't be developed more or better to, you know, in 2 or 3 years' time after you have a bit of?
I know from a Summy point of view, like we've been for the 2 years I've been there, I think we've only played over 40 points once.
Yeah, right.
And that was was actually one of the poorest sides we put on the field. We got beaten by Seaford last year.
Yeah.
We've tried to play between 30 and 35, thinking that you probably need 2 guns or 3 B-plus type players if you go up to be competitive straight away and not get relegated straight away. Now, we've done that this year. We're sick of coming second, third and otherwise. So we've gone, we probably need to play at 40 points to get up there.
Load it up.
And then you hope that you retain, which we've done with like Mason, DeWitt, etc. You retain 6 of them. You go back down to 33. You've still got the scope to go up.
Correct. It builds retention as well.
Yeah.
Like, what's Mason now? 1 pointer? Is he
2 pointer this year?
He's a 2 pointer, so he's a 1 pointer next year. So it promotes retention. What about you, Marco? What do you?
I'm loving the conversation because I was texting. We've got a WhatsApp group that is actually labelled player points.
Yeah,
so
right.
we've got myself and Josh, and we've got a couple of the club who work behind the scenes on them because you nearly have to have someone full time on it. The club, you have to, the role has to be there. So we were talking today about that as well. And if you look at our situation, like we have a lot of kids coming through, and we are planning for that in the future because we believe that with how strong our 19s are, now we've got 55 of them. That we'll be able to, start to bring these kids through.
Sure.
And, granted that for us, it's Mount Martha that we're drawing from for 1 point. Is if they come from South Mornington, there are 3. If they come from, Ballura, there are 3. So it's changed for us. The MOUs have changed, and it looks a little bit different for us this year. But I look at a situation for us from last year and go, Adrian Speedy, 1 pointer, absolute legend of the club. Was heart and soul for the last few years for us. Leaves. Nathan Heath does his shoulder in the pre-season. Josh Newman finishes last year with we all know with Josh and the challenges he's had over the last 12 months. They're all 1 pointers, and then we start to go, well, shit, hold on, we're playing Division 1 footy now. We're up in Division 1. How are we going to compete with our kids that aren't just ready just yet? We want to get them ready, but they're just not ready yet.
Sure.
So we've had to go out and grab Matt Jones, and then we go out and grab Big Kingy in the preseason, and he becomes a big boom recruit. He goes down, and then all of a sudden we lose Nathan Heath, and we're starting to go, geez. Luckily, Matty Jones was available for us to have a chat to, and so we were able to. And we brought in a big Chaz Sargent up forward, and Vanderhaar. They're a 3-3 and a 3. And last year I think Credlin and Laffer. So I guess for us, we're looking at it going, we know we've got the kids coming through and they're going to be 1 pointers, and we are now playing them. We played 4 on the weekend, and we're going to continue to invest in them. But to win games of footy week in, week out at the moment, with some of our core players having gone, having finished for various reasons, we still have to top up with those players for now.
And I think, Macca, to your point, I think 35 points still allows you to do that. So it still allows a handful of 3-pointers, maybe a 4-pointer.
Yeah.
But let's say 16 of the team are 1 pointers.
Yeah. Well, what it does
in
is
time.
You're talking about a level playing field. So, like, I'm looking at your numbers here that from a Division 1 point of view, and there's probably how many clubs would have played under that. Rosebud and Sereno went over it this week. We played at 38, so we would have gone over it. Redial just stayed at it, and the rest are under. So the playing field comes back a bit. Rosebud's got to drop a few out. Sereno's got to drop a few out. We'd probably have to drop 1 out on our numbers. Edie would be fine. Yeah. So you're talking about a level playing field.
Yes,
so you're talking about a conversation that would have to happen. So I think your point of saying give a clubs a couple of years to do it, that's the key point.
Yeah, I think so.
Couple of years.
There needs to be a transition period. So as of this time, we're going to be doing this because it's nearly becoming like the money's a moot point now, isn't it? We all know that, but it's almost becoming nearly a boring competition where it's not level because you got Sereno who can pay all this money and there's player points and I just think. But I guess my biggest concern is that we're not growing. We're not systemically. We're not holistically growing from below. We need to get those junior clubs. I don't know what these junior committees are doing. The ones that aren't putting a 19s, and they say, "Oh, no, the kids aren't interested." Well, I mean, go out and make them interested. Do something. Go and do something really positive to get kids involved in your
league. The league needs to drop in.
Karingal have got a brand new. Their setup is magnificent.
I think the league needs to jump in.
There's no doubt about it, Gammers. There's no who. When do we hear from the league?
You got to
when something goes wrong.
Yeah, I think you've got to define who the league is now.
Well,
correct.
Spot on. So we did have very, very, very good. We done with? We can lift the cone. Or?
Oh, look! What I want is some feedback from the family.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Is that we need to get the feeling of that. We need to get the room involved here. What do you reckon, boys?
Yeah? They love it. They love it.
Oh, they are on the edge of their seat.
Can you repeat anything I just said in the last 10 minutes?
They can't because of the cone of silence. They didn't hear anything.
No, they're in it.
They're in it too. Fuck, I'm so confused.
Can I bring a point up with my son, Nash?
Yeah.
Right? So he starts his footy at the Rosebud Football Club in the under 10s, Mornington's under 10s, I think.
Are you
Ash.
both
Hold
idiots?
on.
You both
Hold on. No, you haven't heard
bastard.
me out, Adam. In the under 11s, he goes and plays for Rye, right?
What?
And then he goes to under 12s and he decides he's loving all the kids at Mornington. So now he's at Mornington. I said, mate, by the time you get in the
Yeah.
seniors, you'll be a 10.
Yeah, you get 10 points. You know, this kid can play.
So just yes. So
Let's get it going.
He is 2 years sus at
Let's get it
Mornington.
going.
So let's go on to that topic now. Is that the AFL Southeast have introduced a point system in junior football? So if that does happen now in that age group, and they are specially skilled guys that I'm sure they are that are in the interleague, they will be classed as a 4-point player, and that new team will only be allowed 10 points. So your move is working in the background, Chief, all the way down to under 12s. So we've had a heap of responses back from the year. Player point system is in operation this year in the AFL Southeast across MPJ, SEJ, and the Frankston District.
To what age group?
To under 18s. So
From under what, 15s?
under 12s, I believe it is.
Okay.
So yes, I've received multiple calls on Sunday and on today through disgruntled parents that can't get their kid on the ground on an under-17 match because of a number of instances. They want to swap clubs. They have to swap clubs, and that's forced their under-17 players to go and play under-19s because they can't play under-17s anywhere.
What if you're a Mount Martha or a Balnarring junior football club and you just attract just gun players and half of them are playing interleague?
That's the point.
Yeah,
that's the point now is those clubs will slowly disappear.
There's a bit of an issue, I reckon, with this points in juniors. So there's so much of a dynamic around junior football, parents, volunteer coaches.
Friends.
There's so many things that can go wrong in junior footy. Like my daughter's moved twice in 2 years as well, and it's been more about off-field than on-field.
Yeah.
Like, how do you navigate that? You're not going to stay. No. And I think what's going to happen is people go, I'm just not going to play. I'm going to play basketball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the biggest point out of all this, and you will all agree, is that kids need to be in sport. And, if we keep going down this direction, I just think we're, as a community, we're opening ourselves up to exposing our kids not playing sport.
But the kids and the parents of these kids, these 12 and 13, they need to see there's a clear pathway that they can do, and it's clear and it's transparent, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because right now, there isn't one.
No.
It's as simple as that.
And the MOUs across the place are varying and confusing.
Yeah.
So for a junior club to be associated with a senior club, and what's going to happen is geographically, the Mornington Peninsula is changing. So the geographic says everyone's moving to the west coast, and the east coast ain't getting anything. But that's going to be a problem moving forward.
Yeah.
Is I can tell you right now is when back in the day when I was on the board of the MPJFL, we'll call them the glory days, is that 75% of player population are on the east coast.
Yeah.
So that's a big worry moving forward.
We just got a whole heap of serious up in here, and I like every bit of it. Now the cone silence has been lifted.
Righto.
Now, can I just say on your point, we want to get you involved, and topics of conversation like this allow you to get involved. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, you name it, where you can find us on socials. But if you want to get down and dirty, make sure you head to halftimeheroes.mpfnl@gmail.com, because we want to hear what you say, whether you're representing the club or whether you're just representing your household. We want to have your thoughts on this particular topic. Now, something raised last week's show before we take another break. Last week's show, there was we had some feedback from the Halftime Hero family. Didn't we, Commish, around how the AFL Southeast works and what sort of level do they come in? And we had one of the Halftime Heroes, one of our fans, come back and contact us through the week. I won't mention her name, but she come to us and said that I'll read this off my phone. So the MPFNL is managed by clubs, via the Board of Administrators, which I believe
The commish.
That's where the commish come from. So our commish tried to get on their commish to make it a better commish. So that that didn't quite eventuate,
well.
did it, commish?
No, it didn't go well.
I think Donald
I'm
Trump.
very happy in the garage.
I think Donald Trump fired you from the boardroom without you even walking in. So if you want decisions made, it's the 22 clubs that make the decisions. And then when they come together, it's a 75% vote in favour of that decision. So AFL Southeast, as far as they're concerned, they are purely there just to administrate the competition. A fixture. They manage the fixture and predominantly they manage finals. And that is it. It is up to the 22 clubs and those that represent those clubs being the executive committee and in most cases, the president. They make up obviously a lot of the representation of the administrator, but predominantly it's the commission that is responsible and oversees the running of the FNL.
The Commission of Self-Serving People.
Yes, pretty much. And
Don't know how that works.
Even that gets that is the bloody point, isn't it?
Well, six people, 6 clubs say no when.
No, I know how that
the resolution's gone. Yep.
I think the wrong people are at the table. To be honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's hard to have you. I mean, you're plucking these people that really, and rightfully so in most cases, are representing their club backer, and they're going pretty hard in some cases. And then at some points over the last 2 years, I know where AFL Southeast have had to send an official in there just to keep things on the straight and narrow and say, hey, you are representing the competition. This isn't about your club.
Yeah.
And it gets pretty fiery there.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
But folks, if we can make a big enough noise about this, maybe we can get something done in the future. But, power to the people.
Absolutely.
And, but if we're all just going to sit in our hands and just go, oh, well, they haven't got this and haven't that, nothing's going to happen. So a little bit sick of it.
So just before we do go to the break, so with the salary cap then, Macca and Gammas, like that still stays, doesn't it? And then as a club, under Commissioner's model, I suppose, then you would pay overs. And then that would allow you to then go out and get sponsors and then look at paying these 19s and these reserves potentially. Because my argument, and it has been for a really long time, is that, okay, that the seniors deserve to get paid, but then you expect to put a reserves team on the track, like on the park every single week. Well, they're still missing out on, $500 a day being, working 4 hours as a chippy or a brickie or a plumber or, do you know what I mean?
It's, a lot of people say you're in a lucky position to have too many players, and you are, by no means. But I'm very cautious by round 6 that we won't have too many players.
Yeah.
So
and that's the fact.
The clubs that don't have too many players, they're in trouble.
Yeah. Now the obvious thing that could happen here is these gun players that come out of the AFL or VFL system, they go to Tura. Or they go up the bush somewhere and earn $2.5 a game. But good on them. Go and drive 2.5 hours every Saturday and see how you go with that. My whole thing, it localises the game.
Yeah.
This is local football, and we're watching our mates' kids run around, our kids run around, your kids run around, these young fellas run around the years to come.
We haven't spent too much on the salary breach last week. No point is.
Yeah.
No, not much.
No, there's no point.
It's just they just got found out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the point is that if you're good enough, you'll get away with it. But if you're not, then you'll go unscathed and unmentioned, I suppose.
But it's not.
It's no
two or
it's
three
not a
years
secret.
Ago, 2 or 3 years ago would have been a hot topic.
Oh yeah.
That Chelsea's gone over $7,000. That's no news, folks.
No.
So it's not even worth bringing up.
It's annoying for teams like we played in a grand final 2 years ago, both because you get ordered in a grand final, as we all know, both teams. So we've done it, and we've won and lost, and we've done it right. And I feel like another team's done it, hasn't been penalised. The penalisation doesn't need to be cash; it needs to be player points.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Because money. If you're spending too much money, and I don't want to go too far on this because this team's in my comp, blah blah blah. But if you're spending too much money, you can pay the fine.
Yep.
If you're spending too much money, you can't pay the points.
That's right.
Yep.
That's
It's pretty easy to fix for
right.
me.
So do you?
No doubt about it.
So do you look at the next round and deduct points for the next round, or is it a year thing?
I think it's a season thing.
Yeah.
Whole season.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
one
agree with
player.
that.
Yep. You agree with
Average
that?
points is 3 points.
Correct.
It's 3 points.
Absolutely. You 37, 38 points is your max.
Well, that's what's stopping us doing it.
Yeah.
You know
What's
what?
stopping- you know what I mean?
Correct. But you're doing the bloody club a favour because they'll play their kids.
Yep.
And the kids will tear their mates and tell their mates, we get a senior game here and
But
it'll grow the club.
You talk about that money, like you might have a salary cap of, I don't know, 110,000 or whatever it is. Most clubs, if they've got the funds and they're going after players, might budget for 130, right?
Yep.
Might sit there and say that's what we're budgeting for.
Yeah.
But the reality of all it is, you're going to lose 20%, 25% in injuries or form
Correct.
or whatever.
You-
so
you're
you're only
never
going
gonna-
to spend yourself.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact at Mornington Footy Club, that's what they do. I had a text message from the guy who pays our salary who said to me, "Can you send me the team again? I've got to do my budget for this week." And then he'll run his budgets. And then as the season's going, we'll have a round 6 chat, we'll have a round 12 chat, and then we'll have a round. So that they say to us, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
That's what we've spent.
And it
Like,
can
Oh,
get
it's a live budget.
yeah, it's a lot.
and it can get to the
we
stage
know.
where someone has to miss out.
Yeah,
because you're going to be
100%.
over.
100%.
I've been trying to go to a break for the last 10
Yeah,
minutes.
no,
It's,
sorry, yeah.
mate, no, don't apologise
it's
because this is a juggernaut. And please get involved because this is some really, really deep intel of what's happening in the back end of our fantastic competition, which is the MP finale. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with Division 2. You're listening and watching the Halftime Heroes.
When your loved ones live alone, it's concerning. So I had no problem changing providers when I saw a better option.
Whether it's helping the aged maintain their independence or providing an approved NDIS package for someone with a disability, a visit from one of Aftercare's qualified personal carers can make all the difference. Aftercare prides itself on tailoring personalised service to the aged and those with disabilities and has done for 21 years. If someone you love could receive better care in their own home, call Aftercare on 1300 464663 or visit after-care.com.au.
Changing was the best thing we ever did.
So let our family help your family.
Are you tired of spending endless hours on property maintenance? Look no further. Introducing Askanish, your premium solution for high-end property maintenance. Our expert team with years of golf course experience specialises in broadacre spraying and large area mowing, ensuring your property maintains its pristine condition. Say goodbye to hassle and say g'day to perfection with Askanish. To find out more, call Rob on 0407 362 328.
Welcome back to Halftime Heroes, the latest on local sport across the Mornington Peninsula.
Welcome back to the Halftime Heroes. It doesn't get any better than what you've just been listening to. We've just had another quick little discussion, and we're going to continue this in the coming weeks as a group because we think it needs to be addressed. And how it looks is dependent on really what your input as Halftime Hero family. If you've got some ideas, like I said, jot them down, send them through. We're even happy to read them on air and do all that kind of stuff as well. So we want to get the Halftime Hero family involved. The show is a growing juggernaut, and then have your say. Let us know what you think. Let's go straight into, boys, round 2 of the Division 2 competition. Let's go through round 1 first. And the first game that was played out was Chelsea Football Netball Club. They took on Crib Point. Chelsea picked up where they left off last year. Crib Point, your boys just not getting the job done there. 15-10, played 10-13 at Chelsea Rec Reserve.
The sub was a bit late, so Gemma's held up the sub.
Orcus is in trouble at the moment with
Orcus.
tariffs. Right, so
Orcus is in froth and bubble.
it's not happening.
But we did talk about if Cribby can get within 3 or 4 goals, that'd be, that's a pretty decent result. Well, they kicked 10 goals to 23 scoring shots.
I subscribe to what you say. 25 shots to 23.
Yeah.
Are in it.
I like it. I like them.
Three-quarter time in the game. It was 9 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At Chelsea.
I think I'm
Good
wondering
effort.
does Sus love them because I like them too. Is it because we've obviously got a lot of Mornington boys down there
Correct.
as well playing, which is so I keep a keen eye on Cribby. I reckon they'll go well.
Yes, I don't mind that at all.
But Chelsea's solid.
Chelsea's solid.
Yeah, they did what they should have done.
Exactly. Bradley Clark, Nick Stamatis, Jack Wallace, Sam Simpson, Samuel Brown for Chelsea and Miles Shepherd, Aidan Phillips, Joshua DeGrasse, Jaden McNabb and Ryan Smith for Crib Point. Crib Point just improving over the years and there's no doubt we'll see them at the pointy end of the competition very, very soon.
One,
I would have thought.
Joshy Halsell playing up at Chelsea as well. So
Yeah, I saw that actually.
Went to Bendigo. And,
yeah, he's a good kid, Joshy. He can play a bit.
He's back.
Really nice kid, so good on him.
The next game saw Devon Meadows at Glover Reserve taking on Pearcedale, going down to Pearcedale, 65-95. Devon Meadows, they're I think they had 4 or 5 debutants of all. Probably they look to be 15 years old. I'm sure they were a little bit older than that, but young boys, good to see them building, putting some kids through there. But something tells me they don't really have much of a choice, Commish.
Well, Devon played with 30. We'll bang on about the points, but Devon played with 34 points on the weekend. That's probably there's fewer points they've played with in some time. So that's whilst they went down, it's a good sign that they are building a junior throng behind the seniors. And well done for debuting these boys against what was always going to be a hard opposition. But Pearcedale good enough to get it done.
Watched the Devon Meadows match on the live stream. Fantastic. They did pretty well. They were in the game until three-quarter time. But their recruits, their 3 young recruits, 16, 17 and 17 years of age,
there you go,
did very, very well.
Yep.
So
excellent. Good move.
Really impressed with those 3.
Good.
8 points at halftime, 45, played Pearcedale 53. So
ran out of legs.
And we've got a bit of a wrap on Pearcedale, haven't we?
Yeah.
Oh, they'll be top 3.
Yeah. So, good.
There's some good names in that side. Like I remember talking about it last year. I was bullish about them last year, but I went and watched them in the finals, and I felt like they were a little bit banged up. I don't know if I'm right or wrong on that, but they might have been banged up in the finals. But they got some quality footballers on that list. Cruz West, Luke Daniels, a very good player, and obviously Brett Eddie's at the other end of his career. But McGuinness, the Vastnack boys.
Well, it's amazing what happens when Cruz West does a pre-season versus being injured.
Yeah,
he's back to 23 form now. So
he was elite 23.
He changes them. Yep.
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. Hastings. It was that's the selection table.
Sorry,
match.
that's why you're in charge.
Gammers, just stay in your lane.
Yeah.
He doesn't like anyone crossing.
No, that's okay.
His little one-seater.
Kev took on Tyab at Hastings Club. Hastings going down 66 to Tyab 76. Good win by the Abs by 10 points.
Yeah, got a nice little bit of feedback from Jimmy not long after the show went to broadcast last week. And Jimmy, we don't mind Tyab, son, but you do give us the shits a bit because you promise everything and give us nothing.
Exactly,
and
we jump on board and then we're off.
Hastings were coming back with a wet sail here too. Just got over the line by 10 points. The Yabbies, so a much improved Hastings, Leigh, I'm thinking under Kev.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go. Hey, he's brought in a few, but he hasn't necessarily ripped apart YC. He's been pretty strategic about it.
No.
It's always a challenge as a first-year coach too, and I reckon they should be pretty competitive. But we're 41 out of 45 with Tyab too, so it'll be interesting to see how they go because they got some good names. I know Luke used to bang on a lot about Tyab because there's a lot of ex-Bomber boys there, and they're still there. I guess that result I would have picked them to win that. So Hastings have done well to stay pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Brown dominated in the ruck. He had 56 hit-outs to, I think, Hastings total of 24 or something.
Oh, wow.
It was an even game, stats-wise. I've got Hastings this week, so I've already been over them. It was 3 stoppage goals to 1, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
They were even everywhere else. They were even on turnover goals. They were even on most other stats, give or take. But, it must have been a pretty good game.
Yeah, so very much improved Hastings.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why we have the experts in town, Commish, because we know fuck all in comparison.
And don't pretend that there's his lane, your lane, my lane.
Absolutely. I'm happy for Gammers to come over to my lane.
That'd be fucking fast. I'd be in the super slow lane. You'd be in the wading.
Oh, the kiddie pool.
You'd be in the wading
kiddie pool with me floaties on around the arms. Yeah, absolutely. Just telling you all what to do. Absolutely. The next game saw Rye taking on Seaford Football Netball Club at RJ Rowley Reserve.
Rye, don't do it.
Yeah, look, 67 points, 310 played 14-11. Yeah, look, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It was a sad couple of weeks for the Rye Football Netball Club, and I'm never suggesting that you play out of your skin for special moments, but geez, that's tough. That's tough going.
Well, in the pre-season, we heard more out of Rye than we did Seaford. We heard nothing out of Seaford, and they come and do that.
They've done. Yes, we've learned a bit about Seaford now.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
Exactly.
Or
Right.
we've learned a bit. Yeah.
I mean,
They can't be poo again.
Right, yeah.
They can't.
Last quarter tells the story, though, 7-5 to 1 point.
Shit.
So, yeah.
For the half. 1 point. They kicked 1 point and a half.
Adam, was you saying, was it last week that their junior program's really good? Their 19s are pretty strong?
Yeah, their 19s
Start
are
getting
strong.
them in.
Yeah,
Roll them in.
Absolutely.
If you've got plenty of them, get them in there.
Absolutely. Their twos got rolled as well. I'm not sure how the 19s went, but their twos got rolled as well. And yeah, look, they are under. I think it's Jamie McPherson down there is heading up the 19s program.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, he's got a couple of guns in that team as well, and they quite often, from time to time, they will play up. But it's hard. They're still, they're still smaller bodies, and they can get hurt.
You do. You probably got to play them. I think I spoke about this with Rye last year. I reckon you've got to play them.
You've got to.
We're having that conversation about points. Like they could set themselves up. They could just, put a couple of years in the bank and just let it happen. Whatever. Take the losses, but coach to it. Coach to the fact that you want to be competitive. And then, get these kids playing good footy so they're good senior players in 2 or 3 years.
Well, that's actually one of the boys there, Brodie McPherson, named in their best.
So Seaford 19s beat them by 46 points.
The Seaford 19s have been very strong.
They have been.
Forever.
Yeah, no, they have been. What's happening down there, right? We'd like to hear what's going on down there, because you're right, Commish, there has been a lot of chirp coming from RJ Rowley Reserve, Sus.
Yes, there has. But on the other side of the coin, Seaford gone under the radar all pre-season.
Yep.
And come out with Matthew Kennedy and the likes. I see Harry Bold getting a couple of goals there as well.
Yeah.
So
Premiership player for Mornington. Harry.
Some good news for Seaford. They've been down the dumps for a while, but to get a good start to round one is pretty good.
Seaford are a club that should benefit off a super run junior organisation.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. They're huge. They've got great rooms, great facilities, really well run, have been for years.
And a great RSL.
And a great
just a walk down the footpath.
Yeah, right on the train line. Just look out for the trains when you step out the door.
It is a cracking RSL. You want to see their Palmer list.
Is that right?
Oh,
is
mate, it is impressive.
I need to go.
You need to go?
I love a Palmer.
Yeah. What you go, Mexicana?
I go to Sporting Globe. Have you had the Palmer at Sporting Globe?
Morty Alec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or there's one down at Fountain Gate as well. But it's a beautiful Palmer.
Yeah, right.
What's the go-to Palmer for you?
I'll go with Mexican Palmer.
Yeah, the Mexican. You like the jalapenos?
Yeah, I don't like jalapenos.
Yeah.
But I'm going to the RSL now. So Seaford, RSL.
Jalapenos or Filipinos?
Shit you not.
Rightio. I'm going to go.
That's the Thai. Is that the Thai Palmer?
The Thai version.
No, Seaford RSL, I'm telling you, it's quaint. It's just, and it goes off. It absolutely goes off. It's a lot of fun.
Going?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It is there's a plug for you, Seaford RSL. Jeez, don't say. Do you know why I'm plugging them? Because they were one of my first clients when I was with 3MP.
Right.
They're very good and still advertising. Their campaign's going very well, can I just say. The next game, Gammers. Well, 51 points over Kringle, 78 played, 27 at Somerville. Which end do you reckon it was blowing to, Commish?
Well, was it blowy?
It was a cross.
It was a cross.
Oh, it was a
cross. Cross breeze. No Spinnaker.
Straight to the Scout Hall. Straight to the Scout Hall. That score's wrong, by the way.
It is wrong. It was 91, wasn't it?
4 points.
Ripped us off about 30%.
Yep.
Oh, it's been corrected. You better look on the site. It has been corrected now.
Well, you better refresh that then, because
nick of time.
12-19-91 to 4-3-27.
Well, not on yours.
Not on mine.
Geez, good kicking's good football, isn't it? 12-19.
Wow. In your best mate, Burton, Lockie Fuster, good boy. Will Cirque, extra good boy. Oliver Heavey and Mitch Mantle, happy with
Geez, half Mount Liza there, isn't there?
Some names there we know.
Yeah, Birdo's 30th birthday. He had a great game. Wheels the ruck, gave us first use. I think he had like 70 clearances or something. 70 odd inside 50s, and he got us going forward. Fuster in a new role down back, which he played really, really well. Was no great spectacle at all this game.
Right.
When did
Bit of
Mace,
rust.
when
Bit of
did
rust
Mace,
there, mate.
Yeah.
Mace went off, kicked 4. When took him what, a quarter to kick 4?
Mace had a party for half an hour and then did himself a little mischief. So we'll assess him this week. But yeah, he had 4. We actually didn't know he'd kick 4. So Mike Treep and I were talking after the game, and the team manager come up and goes, "Oh yeah, so Mace kicked 4." But like, no, he didn't. And then I watched the vision today. He did.
He did.
He also missed 3. So he kicked 4 goals, 3, and had 11 touches in 1 quarter. So
There's folks there.
There's folks.
Game changed straight away when he went off. And
31-7 scoring shots is a domination.
And the wedding singer.
the winnings, he danced around a little bit.
Did he?
Yeah.
We're getting him in too.
Lockie Gill, yeah. His mate come down and sung for us because he wouldn't.
Got down the club later on.
Yeah, it was a pretty big night down there, past players' night. It gets pretty loose, as you know, down Somerville way.
Can get a bit loose.
Yeah, no great spectacle. We did enough to get a
done.
decent win against an opposition we knew nothing about.
We're chatting off air on the back of that, guys. We're chatting off air, and I look at this side and having played against them, and they sat in 2023. They sat on top of the ladder. From if my memory serves me correct, we had our first game was called off in round 1. Yep. They might have been 10 and zip in 2023, and then it changed for them. This side they threw out in the weekend. I look through it and I can't even. I probably know 3 of them.
So what? There'd be Cal Dixon, Louis Barber, and
Barber was at Rye.
Well, he was. Yeah.
Yep.
Lachlan Cow.
Yeah.
And maybe Chris Matthews.
It's not much. That's an extreme change of a list in a 3-year period.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've they look nothing like. And I was saying to the boys last week and even this week, it's actually a really hard game to prepare for. Like everyone's telling you should win by a lot, and I think the players start believing that as well. But you never know. So we actually went the other way. I actually was pretty hard on them in the week leading up to it. And then they end up being better than what everyone thought. To be honest, they stopped us well. They played very defensive, which we knew. We put on the board they'd be contested and bring effort, and that's what they did for the whole 4 quarters. We probably got away a little bit in the end. It was probably a little bit of a fitness thing, and I actually gave them a fair bake at 3/4 time, so I wasn't overly impressed with how we were going. So that's the response. So they're coachable. We move on to Hastings.
Was it 2023 that all 3 grades played in the grand final?
22.
Kringle 22, yeah.
22. So they've gone from that to not having an under-19s to a 2s team that get beaten 112 to 1 point.
Yeah, it's a pretty handy 2s team, though. Ours.
Jesus, Gunners.
Oh, I have to say
a
that.
point.
Yeah.
And 31 scoring shots to 7 in the seniors. It's not. Something's got to be done.
And the selection table match of the day, thanks to the halftime heroes, was Frankston Bombers taking on Bomb Beach. Frankston Bombers just getting the job done there at Baxter Park by 62 points.
What happened there?
Yeah, look, if I go back in the time machine, I'm pretty sure that you all tipped Bomb Beach.
Bomb Beach, yep.
There's no way I picked Bomb Beach. So
no, I don't think you did.
No. Thanks.
No, you did.
That's why we didn't get the coffee cameras last week.
They've got to be the favourites, Bombers.
Yeah, I think 17, 911, Macca. Geez, it's if that's not because Bomb Beach, I mean, on paper they should be going okay, but then we want more out of them. Well, I mean, that's what Kamish keeps telling me.
Oh, no, I don't.
Have a look at their player points for that round. 31 points. And you're just...
the Bombers?
Bombers,
yeah.
31 points, played 32.
It's a good side. Like when I look through it from what we played against last year, don't forget Stephen Bradbury did in the last game of the year, and Spook was pretty upset when we had that last one because they honestly thought that they were over the line.
I know,
still
so
3/4 time, and
but
when you look at this, like they beat us twice last year. Yeah. So I rate them. I rate the Bombers. So that and the side they've thrown out, they haven't lost a lot.
No,
a lot of the names are still there. So they and look at Jai Block. Like he kicked 5 against us last year. He's kicked another 5 on the weekend. So they're going to be a tough side to come up against.
And I believe if Premier Data is correct, Alex Harnett only had 5 touches. So if that's true, that's an even better win.
So where does this leave Bomb Beach? I know it's only round 1, but we're coming off a very poor year from last year. It looks like more of the same.
Look, I thought when we were talking about last week, which we were all pretty positive about.
We were hopeful.
Look, in my time, Like, obviously, I think my first year they played off in the Div 1 grand final, but what we've seen in Div 2 hasn't been anything reminiscent of that.
Yeah.
So
It's a steep drop-off.
I'm not overly surprised. I think Frankston Bombers deservedly so. Probably for the first time in a couple of years, the team coming back is probably the best team on paper and by performance in Div 2. And Bomb Beach, they finished third, fourth last. Like, you've got to recruit really well to get back to a Frankston Bombers level in one game and one pre-season. It just doesn't work like that.
So a tough round one for them.
We'll
put it down to that, will we? Yeah. So we want to see a race from Bomb Beach this week.
Who have they got this week? We'll better find out, aren't we?
Yep. Let's first we'll do takeaways. Takeaways for Div 2 round 1, please. Go, Commish.
Seaford's huge win against Rye. A couple of things. Either Seaford have improved massively, or Rye, it's just the same old Rye. Perhaps it's a bit of both. But we heard nothing from Seaford at all. I mean, on paper, we don't know that many names. But I was super disappointed in Rye.
Yep. I tend to agree with that. Sus, your takeaways, Div 2, please.
I liked Devon Meadows, just for spook. But the fact that those 3 young kids played out of their skin, they were nearly best on ground for me. So good to see from Devon, and we'll see how they travel for the rest of the year.
Excellent.
Macca, please.
I'll just say good start from Pearcedale. I think I backed them sort of a lot last year, and I think they'll be in the mix with that list as long as they can stay healthy. They will be right up there.
No, very good. And you, Gammers, please.
No surprises, and I think the top teams did what they should have done to their opposition this week.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. Let's jump, boys, straight into the upcoming round, which is round 2, and will be played out this coming Saturday, the 12th of April, for the selection table match of the day. The halftime heroes have chosen Pearcedale and Chelsea. So as we do every week, we will leave that until last and just have a closer little look in that. But right now for your tips, boys, please. Hastings taking on at Hastings Club. Somerville, your boys spook the Eagles. Gammers, your boys, mate. It's it's going to be interesting, isn't it? What, Sus?
No.
Just keep your bloody big gorilla hands out of it, please.
Nothing spook. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Right, while we're talking about spooky, just got rolled by Bayswater, just got rolled by Montrose, and what looked like, I was keeping a really close eye on the scores, Macca, and it looked like being a really good contest because it was 2 in throwing. But Gary Ed's Montrose just got over him by 7 points, so well done,
It's a reasonable result, really.
It's a great result at Montrose.
Yeah.
It's a super result.
I mean, obviously,
good job.
Spook and the list have very high expectations, but there was some cramping late. However, and I know Spook and the coaching staff there, they're going to be, we're not fit enough. But for me, it's and I'm not a coach, so I'll probably be told to shut the F up. But it's round 1, and you can be as fit as you want, sort of going into it. But more so, they had 2 rotations by half time. Yeah, right. So to keep within, that margin, injury.
2 injuries.
Yeah, so two of their best. One was their captain.
Okay.
And then another up
Bayswater,
the back line. Yes, we're talking
bad
about Bayswater.
Bad luck, Luke.
Yeah, so two very important players went down, one in the first and one in the second.
So
not
super
bad.
result.
Yeah, no, super result.
Yeah.
But Gammers, you've done no doubt some homework against Hastings this week.
Yeah, they look, they're much improved. Kev, I had a good chat to Kev in the pre-season. Good lad. Brought a few players across. They must have done really well. I've only watched a bit of the division, but I've done their stats. I think they had 12 more inside 50s than Tyab and lost by 10. So they're obviously winning the territory battle for long periods of time, just couldn't convert, or there's some disconnect up forward. So
Which could change, couldn't it?
We've got to watch that, because you clunk 3 or 4 of those marks and all of a sudden they win 100%. By 3 goals.
Yeah.
So, you just don't know enough about him. I think Leigh said before, he hasn't ripped the heart out of YC, but he's brought enough guys into our comp that we haven't seen a lot of, and a lot of them have played in that reserves level of Div 1. We haven't got a lot of footage on them, so you are guessing and asking around, but they're definitely an improved unit, and we definitely won't be taking them lightly at Hastings.
No, very good. Somerville for me. Sus?
Somerville, I think, doing it well at the moment.
Macca?
Yeah, Somerville. I noticed, is there only one Hewitt brother left? I'm just sitting there thinking there was a heap of them at one stage. Yeah.
Is there not 2?
No, I just saw the one.
Saw the one, yeah.
No,
unless the other one's injured.
One might be injured. The old one might. Who played? Luke played.
Jake
Jake played Luke. I think Luke might be injured.
Yep.
Or he's celebrating the cricket grand final from the week before.
Okay, that's fair.
Why not?
He might have gone to the wedding.
Commission.
Some might.
The next game is Kringle taking on the Frankston Bombers. It's not going to get any better for Kringle, I'm afraid. Frankston Bombers for me. Sus.
Bombers by plenty.
Yep.
Yeah.
Macca.
Yeah. Heaps.
Bundles, Bombers.
Yep, heaps. It will be. I think it'll be an annihilation. An abomination. A shellacking, a pasting. Gammers.
Oh, Frankston.
Enough said. The next game is Rye taking on Devon Meadows at RJ Rowley Reserve. I reckon this might be interesting, this one, boys. That was the dulcet tones.
Just lose.
Just from the corner over there.
In his back corner. In the back corner. No, Devon Meadows.
By plenty.
Yeah,
by
me
plenty.
Too.
Yeah.
Did I?
Hey, look, if it looks and smells like it, it generally is. So I was just trying to talk it up.
Yeah,
Devon,
I'll
the Panthers for me.
I'm going Dev Meadows as well, but I'll say it'll be a little bit closer.
No, I reckon it will be.
Yeah.
I feel it will be. The next game is Seaford taking on Crib Point at RF Rec Reserve.
Wow.
Here's a good one.
This is a good
This is a good one.
This
Let's
is
see
a
what Seaford
very
got.
good one. Well,
Cribby were good against Chelsea, so they bring that form. You would think they would beat Seaford, but we don't know Seaford. But they know how to kick goals.
I wonder if they camped up there, Crib Point, for the week. People like gather around. No point coming home.
Well, that's about from the Stony Point line. That's about an 8-hour trip from Stony Point to Frankston, then Frankston to Seaford.
Yeah, we're just staying at the
suburb,
staying at the RSL, I reckon.
Hey, Palmer's at the result.
The sub's still stuck up at Chelsea. They can't get it.
Beach to the time beach.
It's Beach Des Brew. But in saying that though, Seaford had a tough game, no, they didn't have a tough game at all. What am I saying? But okay, Seaford, Cribby.
Yeah.
Oh,
Seaford
it's
at
hard.
home,
I think Seaford at home. RF Miles Reserve,
Points,
beautiful deck, great spectator to watch. The next game is. Do we get everyone's tips?
Seaford,
Macca,
Yeah, Crib Point.
Cribby,
Yeah.
Cribby.
Yeah.
Sus your
Yeah,
Cribby as well.
Cribby. Seaford at home, mate.
Yes, me too. Tyab taking on Bomb Beach at Bungain Reserve down at your little Yip Park. Nip. I probably nip. No, it's politically incorrect to say nip. So the Tyab Football Netball Club will be taking on. Might want to take that one out. Tyab Football Netball Club taking on.
I was actually looking at the crowd. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. I know.
Lucky
I
for
know.
you.
They're hungry. Come on, boys.
They're
Give
keen
me-
on McDonald's on the way
give
home.
me something.
I think they've nodded off.
Give
Gonna
me
say that was some of your best work. You should have got some.
Yeah,
Get it. Here we go. Round of applause.
There we go. The Mexican wave. I
If it's
love
not
it.
too much trouble.
Yeah. I think Jimmy want you back in Suss's garage, so I'm gonna have a little just a little pineapple on Tyab, I think. At Bungain Reserve. Suss.
Tyab by plenty and go 2-0 for the season. Shit, they'll be hanging off the rafters.
They did that last year.
That's what I mean.
They were like
Yeah.
6-1 or something, something ridiculous, and went. Poof.
And then Jimmy came in and interviewed him.
Oh no, it went to custard, didn't it? Never mind. Tie for me. By
Gammers.
plenty.
Gammers.
Oh, that's a tough one, isn't it?
It should be, but I don't think it is.
Tyab,
Yeah.
Just
at the pond.
less than a goal.
Yep.
I
Tie
like
as well.
that.
And
Yep,
a
I like
tight
that a
one.
lot. I like that a lot. And then the selection table match of the round, thanks to the halftime heroes, will be Pearcedale taking on Chelsea at Pearcedale Recreation Reserve. It is going to be an absolute clanger, this one.
Top two.
You
two
would,
top five
your
teams.
boys, Macca would, or Pearcedale. I think you're going to take a close look at this one, I think, won't you?
I like it. I'd love to watch it, but I'll be busy myself.
You will be.
I reckon Pearcedale will win it. I'm pretty bullish about them. So yeah, I'm gonna take Pearcedale on this one.
I like that. I like that a lot. Sus.
The Dales, the Panthers. Yeah, the Panthers will get up on this one and will absolutely maul the Chelsea Seagulls.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think Pearcedale at home. I think, I like them. Like them a lot. Gammers.
Yeah, Pearcedale again. I not with great confidence. I think Pearcedale last year weren't that great at home.
No.
So they tend to travel better. I'm not sure what that is. I think Chelsea. I didn't see, you saw the game, Sus, Pearcedale, Devon. I think Chelsea might have had a better game possibly than what Pearcedale had, which will put them in better stead for this.
Yep.
They've got weapons in different spots, these two teams. Like Pearcedale's forward line is what you dream of. Chelsea's back line is pretty close to that as well. Midfield battle. I honestly can't split them.
Draw.
Chelsea by 3 points.
Yep. Chelsea by 3. So a close one. Oh, a close one indeed. Well, the stage is set for round 2 in Division 2 to be played out on Saturday the 12th. That is a wrap for the Division 2 football show. It's been an absolute pleasure. We love Division 2. That's why we got Gammers here. He's the expert of Division 2, and Macro, of course, is the expert in
generally.
Well, they are both
He's
in
like
general.
our life coach.
They are both in general. But Halftime Heroes heard the call for some more intel in Division 2, and we have given it this year for 2025.
Mayo out.
Oh, I know, absolutely.
Mayo everywhere, boys.
I love it.
Don't get covered in mayo.
Got to pump up the tyres. I might want to cut that one out too.
Yeah. That's a blooper. That's for the grand final show, that one.
We are going to put a bloopers reel together very, very soon because I reckon we've already started to collate one. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to wrap this shit up. She's been a long one. You're listening and watching the Halftime Heroes.
When your loved ones live alone, it's concerning. So I had no problem changing providers when I saw a better option.
Whether it's helping the aged maintain their independence or providing an approved NDIS package for someone with a disability, a visit from one of Aftercare's qualified personal carers can make all the difference. Aftercare prides itself on tailoring personalised service to the aged and those with disabilities and has done for 21 years. If someone you love could receive better care in their own home, call Aftercare on 1300 464663 or visit after-care.com.au.
Changing was the best thing we ever did.
So let our family help your family.
Are you tired of spending endless hours on property maintenance? Look no further. Introducing Askanish, your premium solution for high-end property maintenance. Our expert team with years of golf course experience specialises in broadacre spraying and large area mowing, ensuring your property maintains its pristine condition. Say goodbye to hassle and say g'day to perfection with Askanish. To find out more, call Rob on 0407 362 328.
Welcome back to Halftime Heroes, the latest on local sport across the Mornington Peninsula.
Welcome back to the Halftime Heroes. It's now time for Suss's Pallets. We need to do an intro for that. I'm thinking forklift, but not just your normal average forklift. I'm thinking like one of those big shipping container ones. An industrial bastard, some big industrial bastard that blows diesel smoke and really
a couple of V8s
just to keep you safe, Sus. I want you to be safe. It's now time for Suss's Pallets. What do you got for us, legend?
Look, there's been a bit of spray about the Hastings Club.
Oh, you're going to go there.
I'm going to go there.
Oh, no.
This is got nothing to do with the
It is hot.
Look after us Westerners, please.
So I'm just going to go. I'm just going to go, and I'm just going to look at the spray that he gave Sorrento Lifesaving Club. And you just don't...
A favourite of the show. Well, used to be a favourite of the show.
Kev Miles, he just sprayed out, Sorrento Lifesaving Club as they just get a $2 million grant. Kev, I'm going to cast your mind back to 2016, and me and a couple of other blokes went and hunted for some club rooms for your junior footy club because the seniors or the Hastings Club weren't supportive of your juniors club. I'll be fair in saying that, and I had to go and, with some other helpers, go and source some club rooms to put in the back oval.
And I still think they're shipping. I still think
Some
they're
little Atco
demandables.
huts.
Yeah,
They're them.
huts.
And the shipping, we had to get them out of a 40-foot shipping container. So the Sorrento Lifesaving Club, that has been years in the making. So you've got to get this thing about East and West is not. It's
not
correct.
there.
Yeah, do the work. But everyone is supportive of Hastings, folks. Let me get you right clear on that.
Yeah.
And we will do, and we did whatever we can to get the juniors up and going then. So it's got to be across the board, folks. So Hastings Club, you'll rebuild and you'll get over it, and you'll go onto stronger things. But don't spray other organisations, folks. That's just bad taste.
Maybe just leave. Maybe they'll move forward without the Pokes.
Oh, well, they lost. Yeah, that's a long story.
It's not a great wedding venue, really.
Well, it's
21st.
No,
it's line dance.
It's done.
Oh,
Look, there's people on both. The council buggered up. 2017, they didn't fix anything from then on. Council have buggered up massively. So, but you just, when you go for the handout, you just don't expect it in the next 3 months.
No, you have to work hard to get it. You have to talk to federal, state, local.
I'll give you an example of that, and that's Mick Wonderley down at Mornington. I can tell you right now, he started on that Mornington project back in 2014. I can tell you, and it's taken him 10 years to get that up and going. So they're the timelines, folks. If you want to build a new stadium or a new place, don't pencil in 3 months. Pencil in 5 to 10 years. That's what you have to do. And I'll remind each clubs and each volunteers that there's a little event coming up at council, especially the Mornington Peninsula Council. I think it's a section 224 where you put your proposals in for grants and for monies out of the budget. Do that every year for 3 years, and that's what you get.
Ching ching. They've very good from you, Sus. I like that. Sus's Pallets always pleasing the Halftime Heroes family. They've been swanning. I've read this week, Gammers, that they've been swanning around your place, kissing babies and cutting prospective ribbons and whatnot.
Yeah, we got a handout last year actually to modernise what we've got, but it's I think it's a 5-year master plan that's going to come together and build us some new rooms because, we won't complain, but they're pretty dated where we are. The straw roof's starting to leak a bit more each year, and
Gammers, if there's club rooms around the peninsula, and we did a pecking order, Somerville and Mount Eliza would be in the top
of course.
2, and I totally get it, and good on the candidates, whoever they are, for allocating some money to something.
No, absolutely, it's well deserved. Great club, both netball and junior club, as well as obviously the senior club as well. Well, that is a wrap for the Halftime Heroes. First and foremost, I'd like to thank our audience for the first time this year. It's massive. Your input's been fabulous, and you'll collect your check later on, maybe in a couple of years' time. Reese and Nash, thank you, boys, for coming along. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming along, boys.
Yeah, we'll definitely hit McDonald's on the way home, boys.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no, absolutely. Large meals, Dad. All right. Reese, mate. Go out. Go all out, all right?
A bit late for an ice cream, though. A bit late for
No.
Okay.
School holidays, mate. School holidays. Treat the bloody boys, Macca. Shit. God teaches I'm just fucking tired ass.
Thinking about Saturday's game. What you played Mornington under 13s.
He's got 4 games to play across 4 different bloody divisions. Unbelievable. You are, Nash. Thanks to you, great man, Sus, in your corner, just pressing the button. You've done an absolute treat. It's a full garage today. Macca, welcome. Thanks, mate. You're an absolutely fantastic inclusion to the Halftime Heroes, and we'll see you on a fortnightly basis.
Happy to come in.
Absolutely. And well, we can't get rid of this bloke, so who knows when we're going to see him next.
Next week we hope.
Yeah. No, Gammers will be here next week. I love it. And Kamish, it's always a pleasure. Always
it's been
a
little bit
pleasure.
controversial. Let's get people thinking.
No, exactly.
Talk to us.
Exactly. Join in on the conversation because we do also, as well as taking the piss and having a bit of fun, we want to dig down on some of the pressing stories getting around, and I reckon that's a big one this year. Well, that is a wrap from the Halftime Heroes. We've loved every second of bringing you the last, well, it feels like about 8 hours, but Who knows how long it's going to go? Sus will see. Thanks to the Susovic family for lending us the garage again. It's always a pleasure coming to Mornington. That is a wrap from Halftime Heroes. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.